All right, guys, last quick little question here. On to trig. So evaluate the arctan of 4 pi over 5, which is interesting because that's not a point that's on the unit circle. And so typically when we're doing these types of problems, we're looking for points that are on the unit circle, or we're looking to create in a triangle. And we really don't want to create a triangle in this example here because, I don't see that's really going to be really going to be helpful or make this any kind of easier. But there is one thing that I remember, and obviously to, kind of keep this video not too short, because obviously this is a point where we talk about this in a long lesson, is talking about the restrictions. But, the main thing is, let's figure out where exactly this point is, right? If all the way around the circle is going to be 4 pi over 5, if we were to break this up into fifths, then that's going to be somewhere into the second quadrant. But again, 4 pi over 5, so that point, okay. Actually, I was thinking that was going to be in the first quadrant, but it's not going to be in the first quadrant. It's going to be the second quadrant. So now I got to think about, crap. Okay, so the tangent of 4 pi over 5, that's in the first quadrant, or sorry, that's going to be in the second quadrant. So that's going to be some negative value. Because the point was to use this without a calculator. Crap, we're going to be getting into this here, and I'm trying to think. I'm drawing a blank here. Let me go ahead and do the cos of the second one, and then maybe I'll come to it. Because this one, since it's not on the unit circle, it's not really as obvious. And obviously, I'm not going to be teaching this for a couple more months to get into this. But again, when we're doing the composition, you always want to do kind of from the inside to the outside. So sine of 7 pi over 6, right? That's going to be all the way down here. All right, and then if we were thinking about that coordinate point here, so the coordinate point is going to be negative square root of 3 over 2 comma negative 1/2. Right? So the sine of this coordinate point is negative 1/2. So really what you're asking is the arc cosine of negative 1/2. Now, however, though, we have to make sure we understand that arc cosine is basically asking us what x coordinate or what angle gives us an x coordinate of negative 1/2. Well, for negative 1/2, it has to be in the second quadrant. Remember, the inverse cosine is restricted between the first and the second quadrant. Obviously, since it's negative, it needs to be in the second quadrant. And cosine, therefore, is going to be that angle, which would be 2 pi over 3. So, and if you look at that, if you graph 2 pi over 3, the x coordinate is going to be a negative 1/2. Now the tangent of 4 pi over 5, that's going to be in the second quadrant, which is going to provide you with a negative value. I'm just going to chalk this one up. I have my brain fart. It was obviously I was thinking if it was like pi over 5, right? Then obviously whatever that angle is, whatever the tangent of pi over 5 is, but then if you do the inverse of that, it's obviously those are just going to undo each other because pi over 5, that falls within the restriction. So therefore your answer would just be pi over 5 because they basically undo each other within those restrictions. However, I'm just, I don't know, my brain just hurts. I'm just going to chalk this one up as a loss. I thought I was looking at the answer and then I was thinking something different, and I'm sure it'll probably come to me later, or especially when I'll teach it, I'll maybe add it in at another live sim. So I do apologize. I don't know what else to say. My brain hurts and things. So, but I do. All right. So let's go ahead and end it, at least with that. Let me see if there's maybe any questions I can do from you guys. So I'll finish off that live stream. I do apologize. I wasn't able to. If I just did from the pi over 5, then that answer would be pi over 5. From there, as those undo each other. And now I'm going to have to probably stay up and actually figure out this problem after a live stream. But that's the problem with the live stream is you are on point. So it's hey, you got to figure thing out, right? It's all the pressure on a test and stuff. It's got to think right now because you don't have time for people to hear you blabbing around, and trying to figure it out. But that's just the reality, guys, and not everything always comes to my brain, as quickly as you'd like to. So there you go. So, all right. Oh, Jeffrey, was that your question? Oh, well, then if you're allowed to use a calculator, I thought you said without a calculator. On this one, since you're allowed to, this one you don't need to use a calculator, but since you're allowed to use a calculator, you just type in the tan of pi over 5 and then take the arctan of that, or the inverse. So hopefully that helps. Basically just do the inside to the outside.